Ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn, clutch your wigs, and lock your timelines because something just went down that has the internet screaming, "Wait, what?" When Karlissa showed up reacting to Blueface and his so-called GF Nevaeh, fans weren't just watching, they were analyzing like the FBI with Wi-Fi. And the question echoing through social media wasn't subtle. It was loud. It was messy. It was practically tattooed across Twitter. Has Chrisean been erased from the picture? Now, I'm not saying this is a soap opera, but if daytime TV saw this plot twist, they'd retire out of respect. Because when Karlissa speaks, it's never just commentary. It's coded. It's layered. It's the kind of reaction that launches 1,000 TikToks and 5 conspiracy threads before breakfast. And let's be honest, whenever Blueface's circle shifts even slightly, the internet treats it like a Marvel end credit scene. Every eyebrow raise is a headline. Every side-eye is a dissertation. So what really happened? Was this a subtle acknowledgement, a strategic pivot, or just another episode in the most unpredictable saga on social media? Oh, we're unpacking all of it. And trust me, it only gets wilder from here. The second Karlissa reacted to Blueface being seen with Nevaeh, the internet didn't just gasp, it conducted a full-blown digital autopsy. Because nothing moves quietly in this saga. Every glance becomes a headline, every smile becomes a subplot, and every neutral reaction somehow turns into a declaration of war. Let's rewind for a second. Blueface and Chrisean's history hasn't exactly been subtle. It's been loud, public, emotional, chaotic, the kind of relationship that trends before breakfast and resurfaces by dinner. Livestream arguments, reconciliations, cryptic posts, dramatic captions, their dynamic has practically been a subscription service. So when a new name like Nevaeh starts circulating around Blueface, people don't just notice. They zoom in. Now add Karlissa into that equation. Karlissa has never been background noise in this storyline. When she speaks, people listen. When she reacts, timelines refresh. And when she appears even slightly comfortable around a new situation, fans start drawing conclusions faster than conspiracy theorists on Reddit. Her reaction wasn't explosive. There was no dramatic speech, no obvious shade, no direct mention of anyone. But that's exactly why it became explosive. Because subtlety is louder than shouting when the audience is already suspicious. The energy felt different. That's what people kept saying. Different. And in internet language, different translates to something shifted. Within minutes, comment sections turned into investigative panels. Some viewers claimed Karlissa looked supportive. Others said she seemed relieved. A few insisted they spotted micro-expressions that meant absolutely nothing but were analyzed like a CIA briefing. Suddenly, everyone had a degree in body language and a minor in relationship psychology. And then came the question echoing everywhere. Is Chrisean still part of the picture? Or has the narrative quietly moved on? No official statements. No public confirmations. Just vibes. And apparently, vibes are legally binding in 2026. The memes wasted no time clocking in for work. Split-screen edits, before and after jokes. Dramatic music layered over freeze frames. Someone even captioned a clip, "Soft launch energy." Another wrote, "Season finale behavior. The internet doesn't sleep, it produces content." But let's step back and look at what really fueled the wildfire. It wasn't just Blueface being linked to Nevaeh. It was Karlissa's presence, her calm demeanor, her lack of visible tension. In a storyline known for fireworks, calm feels suspicious. Because historically, whenever there's been tension in this circle, it hasn't exactly been subtle. We've seen the public back and forth. We've witnessed the heated commentary. So when there's quiet composure instead, that silence feels louder than shouting. Some fans interpreted it as maturity, growth, evolution. Others interpreted it as confirmation that a chapter had closed without an announcement. And that's where speculation turned into full-blown narrative building. Threads started popping up connecting timelines. When was the last public appearance? When was the last supportive post? Who unfollowed who? It became less about what was said and more about what wasn't. Silence became suspicious. Absence became symbolic. But here's the twist. None of it was officially declared. This entire frenzy was built on reaction energy, body language, timing, public optics, which, in today's world, might as well be legal documents. And then came the comparisons. People started saying this makes reality TV look scripted, that even long-running celebrity feuds seem predictable compared to this ever-shifting saga. Someone joked that streaming platforms should just buy exclusive rights because the plot twists never stop. And honestly, they weren't wrong. What made it more intense was the speed. Within hours, narratives had formed. Camps had divided. Supporters picked sides without even knowing what side they were standing on. Some defended Chrisean fiercely, saying absence doesn't equal erasure. Others claimed Blueface was simply moving forward publicly. Meanwhile, Karlissa's reaction clip continued circulating like it contained hidden subtitles. Dune replayed. Slow down. It's almost fascinating how a single moment can spark this much conversation. But that's the power of public relationships played out online. They become communal storylines. Everyone feels involved. Everyone feels invested. And whether intentional or not, perception becomes reality in the comment section. The phrase "erased" started trending not because anyone officially said it, but because the audience felt it. And feelings online spread faster than facts. Was this a strategic pivot? A subtle reset? Or simply a moment blown out of proportion because the internet thrives on drama? That's the million-dollar mystery. Because here's the thing, nothing definitive happened. No dramatic declaration. No confirmation. No public fallout. Just a reaction. But in this saga, reactions are currency. Karlissa didn't need to say much. The internet filled in the blanks. It always does. And the more ambiguous the situation, the louder the speculation becomes. Now the real tension isn't even about Blueface and Nevaeh anymore. It's about what this means for the broader storyline. Has the narrative shifted permanently? Is this a temporary detour? Or are we watching the quiet beginning of a completely new era? One reaction clip turned into 1,000 interpretations. And if there's one thing this situation proves, it's that public perception can flip overnight. All it takes is one appearance, one shift in tone, one calm reaction where chaos was expected. And just like that, the internet decides a chapter has ended, even if the book is still open. But if you think this was the peak of the drama, if you thought the internet was going to process this calmly, you clearly haven't been online in the last decade. Because the moment speculation hit cruising speed, it didn't slow down. It strapped on a rocket and blasted into full cinematic chaos. Now the conversation wasn't just, did something change? It became, oh, this is a plot twist. Social media started spinning theories like DJs at a club nobody asked to attend. TikTok breakdowns with dramatic sound effects. Twitter threads longer than ACVS receipt. Instagram comment sections turning into digital town halls. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion, and none of them were quiet. And let's talk about the memes for a second. One viral edit showed Karlissa's calm expression with the caption, "When the season resets without a warning," another compared the situation to a reality show recasting its main character mid-season. Someone even joked that this storyline makes the Kardashians look like a documentary about gardening. But here's where it escalated. People started analyzing the timing. Timing is everything on the internet. If someone appears somewhere at a specific moment, the audience assumes intention. Blueface being seen publicly with Nevaeh wasn't just random in fans' eyes, it was strategic, coordinated, symbolic. And Karlissa's reaction. That became the supposed green light. Commentators began suggesting that this wasn't accidental, that maybe this was the public shift fans had been predicting. Not confirmed, not announced, just quietly executed like a brand refresh. And then celebrity commentary channels started weighing in. Not with facts, not with receipts, but with tone. And tone is gasoline in situations like this. Because once other influencers amplify the narrative, It doesn't stay speculation. It becomes mainstream chatter. You had creators saying, "This feels intentional." Others claiming, "This energy is different." And of course, the dramatic ones declaring, "We just witnessed a soft launch in real time." The phrase soft launch started trending like it had a PR manager. Now, let's pause for a second. None of the key players issued statements. Nobody confirmed a breakup. Nobody announced a new relationship. Yet the audience behaved like contracts had been signed and notarized. That's the power of digital storytelling. The crowd writes the script before the cast even reads it. And then came the comparisons to past moments. People resurfaced old clips, old interviews, old statements. They started building timelines like historians documenting a dynasty. Remember when this happened? What about that live stream? Didn't someone say something last year? Suddenly, everything felt connected. It was like watching a Marvel fan theory spiral, except instead of superheroes, it was social media personalities and public dynamics. Some fans expressed disappointment. They felt blindsided. Others were oddly calm, saying this was inevitable. A few even treated it like character development. Growth arc unlocked. New storyline activated. But the most intense reactions came from the loyalty camps. Supporters of Chrisean flooded comment sections insisting that absence from one public moment doesn't equal disappearance. They argued that online perception is not reality. Meanwhile, those reading into Karlissa's comfort level insisted that body language doesn't lie. Body language. Let's talk about how everyone suddenly became a certified expert. Slow motion clips circulated. Eyebrow raises were dissected. The angle of a smile was debated like it held the secrets of the universe. At this point, the situation wasn't even about Blueface or Nevaeh anymore. It was about symbolism, representation, narrative control. And here's the wild part, every side was convinced they were right. Because online drama thrives in ambiguity. The less clarity there is, the more room there is for imagination. And imagination online? That thing runs marathons. Then came the pop culture analogies. People compared this to when TV shows write out characters without explanation. Others said it felt like a reboot no one asked for. Someone dramatically tweeted, "We didn't even get a season finale, they just skipped to season 4. The exaggeration was Olympic level. But exaggeration is the fuel that keeps these conversations trending. Because subtle shifts don't go viral. Dramatic interpretations do. And just when you thought it couldn't get louder, commentary accounts began speculating about brand optics. They questioned whether public associations were intentional image pivots, whether this was about narrative reset, whether this was strategic silence instead of accidental absence. Now we're in chessboard territory. Every move is perceived as calculated. Every appearance analyzed like it's part of a master plan. And whether that's true or not almost doesn't matter. Because once the public believes it, the narrative sticks. The phrase "erase" continued circulating, even though nobody officially used it. That's how powerful suggestion is. A whisper online can turn into a trending topic by lunchtime. Meanwhile, Blueface remained publicly unbothered. Nevaeh's name continued floating through discussions. And Karlissa. Her original reaction clip kept racking up views like it was a teaser trailer for something bigger. Which brings us to the real twist. The more silence there was, the louder the speculation became. Because in internet culture, silence isn't neutral. It's interpreted. It's decoded. It's transformed into meaning. And the longer no one clarified anything, the more dramatic the assumptions grew. By the end of the week, what started as a simple reaction had evolved into a full-blown online saga. Reaction videos about reaction videos. Commentary about commentary. It became a hall of mirrors where every opinion reflected another opinion, and still no confirmation. Just vibes. But if you think the fallout stopped at memes and hot takes, think again. Because when public perception shifts this fast, it doesn't just live online. It impacts reputations. It reshapes dynamics. Here's where it stops being just internet noise and starts becoming something heavier. perception turning into reputation. Because once a narrative takes root online, it doesn't politely sit in the corner. It spreads. It influences. It reshapes how people see everyone involved. What began as one reaction clip suddenly carried consequences. Not confirmed consequences, not official statements, but perception-based shifts. And in today's world, perception can hit harder than press releases. For Blueface, the public spotlight has never exactly been dim. But now the conversation wasn't just about controversy or chaos. It was about direction, about evolution, about who stands next to him publicly and what that implies. Whether intentional or accidental, optics matter. Nevaeh's name entering the storyline shifted attention in a major way. She didn't even have to say much. Her mere presence in the discussion changed the temperature of the room. And when the internet changes temperature, it doesn't do it gently, it flips the thermostat dramatically. Then there's Karlissa. Her reaction, calm and seemingly composed, became symbolic. Some people framed it as maturity. Others framed it as approval. A few interpreted it as closure energy. And once those interpretations gained traction, they began sticking like headlines people never fact-check. The real impact. Public imagination filled in blanks that no one officially confirmed. And Chrisean's name continued hovering over everything like an unfinished sentence. Supporters rallied, insisting that absence from one moment doesn't equal removal from the narrative. Critics suggested that public shifts speak louder than private realities. What makes it wild is that none of the central figures actually declared anything dramatic. No announcement, no hard launch, no official ending. Yet the audience emotionally processed it like a finale had aired. That's the influence of digital storytelling. Once enough people repeat an idea, even framed as speculation, it begins to feel concrete. Comment sections turn into consensus machines. And consensus online can feel like confirmation, even when it's not. Reputations don't just shift from scandals anymore. They shift from vibes, from tone, from association. Blueface's public image has always thrived on unpredictability. But unpredictability cuts both ways. It keeps attention high, but it also invites intense scrutiny. And when scrutiny collides with ambiguity, speculation becomes currency. Nevaeh's role in the discussion, whether intentional or incidental, now exists in a narrative bigger than a single moment. That's how quickly online culture expands storylines. A cameo becomes a character arc. A public appearance becomes a thesis topic. Karlissa, meanwhile, unintentionally became the emotional barometer of the situation. People projected meaning onto her composure. They treated her reaction as the temperature check for the entire saga. It's almost surreal how one facial expression can morph into symbolic confirmation. But here's the twist nobody talks about enough. Online drama doesn't just impact the subjects. It impacts the audience. Fans invest emotionally. They build attachments. They defend. They argue. They debate as if they're shareholders in a company called Celebrity Narrative Inc. And when the storyline shifts, even slightly, those emotional investments feel shaken. Some viewers felt blindsided, others felt validated. A few treated it like the inevitable next chapter. But across the board, everyone felt something. And that's the true aftermath, emotional engagement amplified to dramatic proportions. The bigger question now isn't was Chrisean erased? It's how does this reshape public perception moving forward? Because once a narrative shifts, it rarely snaps back to its original form. Even if future events contradict it, the memory of this moment lingers. Silence remains the loudest element. No definitive clarification means the conversation keeps breathing. Every new appearance will be analyzed, every interaction dissected. The audience will continue searching for confirmation of whatever theory they personally subscribe to. It's almost like watching a chess match where the pieces move subtly, but the audience reacts like a checkmate just happened. And that's the beauty and chaos of modern celebrity culture. It thrives on ambiguity. It survives on reaction. It explodes on suggestion. Whether this moment represents a true shift or just an exaggerated online interpretation almost becomes secondary, because the public already formed opinions. And once opinions solidify, they influence future reactions. If Blueface appears publicly with Nevaeh again, people will say, "See, we told you." If Chrisean reappears prominently, others will claim plot twist. Either way, the audience frames it as confirmation of their prior belief. That's how powerful narrative momentum is. And here's the final layer. This saga isn't isolated. It's part of a broader pattern where personal lives play out in real time, filtered through commentary culture. It's entertainment, speculation, branding, and public perception all tangled together. Karlissa's reaction may have been simple in reality, but online, it became a catalyst. Blueface's association may have been casual, but online, it felt cinematic. Nevaeh's presence may have been organic, but online, it was interpreted as strategic. And Chrisean's absence may have meant nothing, but online, it meant everything. That's the paradox. So now we wait. Because if this storyline has taught us anything, it's that nothing stays quiet for long. The next public appearance, the next post, the next reaction, it's all potential fuel. Now listen. If you made it this far, you already know this saga is not slowing down. This isn't a one-episode situation. This is a whole streaming series with surprise renewals and plot twists nobody saw coming. And trust me, the next development could drop at any second. So I need to know. What do you think is really going on? Was Karlissa's reaction just calm maturity? Or was that subtle energy a silent confirmation that the storyline has officially shifted? Is this growth? Is this strategy? Or are we all just witnessing another unpredictable chapter unfold in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I'm talking full theories. Don't hold back. This comment section is basically a digital courtroom and everybody gets the mic. And if you enjoy breakdowns that hit harder than a plot twist in the season finale, go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money. Don't tap it gently, press it with conviction. Subscribe if you're tired of watered-down commentary and want the drama decoded without the fluff. Around here, we don't just watch the headlines, we dissect them, flip them, and turn them into full cinematic breakdowns, because scandals don't schedule appointments. They drop randomly. And when they do, we're already here. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next shockwave. Until the next twist, the next reaction, and the next internet meltdown. Stay loud, stay curious, and welcome to Celeb Sync.